The post-credits scene in DreamWorks' film The Wild Robot offers a humorous epilogue. The Wild Robot, which is based on the same titled Peter Brown book series, mostly centers on Roz, a futuristic mechanical marvel who ends up abandoned on a secluded island. As Roz adapts her new existence in the wild and takes on the role of adoptive mother to an orphaned gosling, she has to deal with the biases and anxieties of the other animals in their immediate vicinity. But toward the end of the movie, the characters in The Wild Robot gradually become into trustworthy companions and surprising allies. It's a charming progression that ultimately contributes to the joke tucked away at the end of the movie's credits. It's a small scene that reinforces that two of the most unique supporting characters still have some of the sardonic qualities that define them early in the movie without detracting from the character's emotional journey. In contrast to the previous arguments, their unity in the post-credits scene emphasizes the significance of the Wild Robot's conclusion on their lives. There's a brief post-credits sequence in The Wild Robot that shows Fink and Paddler in the wake of the film's powerful narrative. Both animals had shown signs of antisocial behavior and aggression earlier in the movie, notably toward one another. Both of them were impacted by Roz's influence and generosity, which helped them develop into more compassionate animals that might aid others. In the climactic scene, Paddle demands a specific apology from Fink before assisting in the battle against the robots that are attempting to capture Roz, making their past rivalry extra funnier. They may be seen hanging out together on the island in the post-credits sequence, implying that they still have the friendship that was created between them throughout the pandemonium of the Wild Robot's ending. Their nonchalant rejection of the squirrel who has also visited the island adds a humorous element to the otherwise beautiful beat. They are still their cynical selves, even though they might be better now, especially considering how standoffish they were early in the movie. Although the scene is meant to make you laugh, it does build on previous scenes in the movie to resolve two ongoing jokes. The post-credits scene in The Wild Robot serves a comic purpose by resolving two ongoing gags from the first half of the film, which otherwise would have detracted from the more serious feelings of the film's conclusion. Fink informs Rose early on in the movie that witnessing another person suffer is the fundamental element of comedy. Consequently, there are several rapid beats in which someone is struck with a rock in an attempt to make them laugh. The joke is repeated throughout the film. However, this time the squirrel is hit by a rock. This also fulfills the recurring joke that the other characters find the snickering squirrel annoying. Throughout the movie, the squirrel is frequently seen as one of the creatures that mistrusts Roz. At one point, she even attacks her when she attempts to help. Roz eventually finds a way to save the squirrel during the winter. The other animals on the island have started to target him because of his guffawing at the other animals, and a well-placed boulder eventually silences him. It's a fun and absurd way to wrap up the movie. The fact that the animal's serenity appears to be enduring even without Roz is the main lesson to be learned from the Wild Robot's post-credits scene. The animals are territorial and at most hostile towards strangers for a large portion of the movie. Seeing the animals get past their problems and form a bond with Roz is one of the major emotional turns of the movie's ending. They stand up for her, even promising to stay cordial after she departs. The post-credits sequence suggests that this shift would indeed continue, even though Thorn the Bear's agreement to stop pursuing Fink implied it was a permanent one. The scene where Fink and Paddle are spotted together emphasizes the movie's ideals of inclusion and community. It's a sweet development that might logically lead to the kinds of story elements seen in the follow-ups to the original work of The Wild Robot, which ultimately made a return to the island. It's a sweet and humorous way to end DreamWorks' adaptation of The Wild Robot.